do not adjust your radio dial. You are tuned in to the Mark Order Podcast. Join the Mark Order.
It's Wednesday night. You know what that means. I wish AEW knew what that meant because it didn't feel like they did tonight. Holy shit. What a bad episode, in my opinion, of AEW Dynamite. But we're here to break it all down for you. I'm sure Ryan will find that something about it was fun. I have no doubt about that at all. But we have Joe, as always, and we also have Kevin James with us. Great to see you, Kevin James. How's it going?
I'm doing well, just taking a break from Hollywood. I look nothing like Kevin James.
You look nothing. Why don't we kick off the show properly and tell the good people why your name is that, and also how horrendously off base that comparison was?
So I have Flyer season tickets. Very happy with those, and my seat is in a place where camera can, if it wants to, have a good shot at me all the time. So anytime they do these stupid lookalike cams, I'm always nervous, and I'm like, this. If I ever see a fat guy on there, I'm gonna be the generic fat guy they go with. But it depends. And then I see Kevin James, and I think to myself, oh, thank God, I look nothing like him. I can't be on the lookalike cam. No. They put me right up there as the Kevin James lookalike. Hold on, I'm trying to find the picture.
You look nothing like Kevin James.
No, I look nothing like him
really
on a good day.
Were you doing the meme face at least, or no?
I did it once they put it on me.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
It's the meme. So that's the picture they used. That was the exact.
I figured as much, because otherwise, why would he even be back in the zeitgeist?
Oh, you got your chin out a little, because he's smart. He puts his chin out to hide the neck fat.
That's not a bad Kevin James impression, but you don't look like him. You're not from Queens. I don't doubt that if it's the route that you wanted to pursue with your life, you could be the king of it, but you're certainly not the king of Queens right now. You don't work for the UPS. You're a Phillies guy. Like, you're a Philadelphia sports fan. There's nothing Kevin James-ish about you. I'm sorry to say you have not pulled anybody the likes of Aaliyah Ramini, because she's what a babe. But
that is nothing close to me.
Not even close. But can you do the meme face again so that we can get a one-to-one comparison? Yeah, no, not even close.
I got nothing.
He's clean-shaven, smooth as a baby's bottom. He has brownish hair. You are dark hair, a little salt and pepper now as you're going into your education phase of your life, as you should be.
As I age.
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing they couldn't find another big white guy in the crowd at a Flyers game.
They were very lazy.
Doppelganger is the question. Who could they?
I don't really have a celebrity doppelganger. You can find a lot of me's on the street. Sure. But in terms of
celebrity doppelganger, I might have to think on that for next Wednesday. If anybody in the chat has a thought, feel free.
Who's yours, Kate?
Mine, I get Elizabeth Banks a lot.
Yeah.
And I get Taylor Swift sometimes, depending on, not walking down the street do I get Taylor Swift, but people will screen grab stuff from post shows of mine and be like, you look like Taylor Swift in this. And I'm like, I kind of do in the frame that somebody frames me in. I don't get that down just out in public a lot, but sometimes. But I think Elizabeth Banks is probably my closest one. I've gotten Penelope Ford when I've had my sunglasses on and a backwards cap, and my hair was super blonde, but that was mostly it.
You had that platinum look.
Yeah, when I had the platinum hair going, I was a bad girl.
Super bad, yeah.
Do you have one?
I don't think I can. Otherwise, I think it's racist.
That's fair. That's a fair point. Carlito would be like, "You're Chinese," or what does he say in Anchorman? She was Brazilian or Chinese or something weird. Things that would never get made today, but man,
I found my doppelganger.
Oh man, you found your doppelganger?
Yeah, it's totally accurate. I promise you, it's not at all inaccurate.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I can't. I'm embarrassed. I didn't think of it, to be honest.
Ryan Reynolds. It works. It's just
right
perfect.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He has the dark and distinguished look going on in like the facial hair situation. I see hardly any differences between you two.
Mm-hmm.
We're both very, very good looking men.
Yeah,
it's true. Inarguable. Joe, how are you? How's your week been? Did you get called out at any hockey games?
I did not.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, you don't have professional hockey.
You can't get called out in a hockey game if you're not going to be on the ice. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But otherwise, it was fine. My sports team's all lost, so that was fun.
I'm sorry to hear that because all mine won. I mean, the Jets are comically bad, so I feel like the fact that Russell Wilson routed them is like, it's a good sign. Like, he looked good regardless, I feel like, at quarterback, but Aaron Rodgers is going to be a really expensive, bad investment for the Jets, but they should be used to that by now. They should be used to that right now. I see Jamie in the chat, who I've only said nice things about, trolling me, saying, calm down, Yankees. I will not calm down about my Yankees. I'm very excited about my Yankees and Juan Soto.
Calm
put
down,
it
Yankees.
away. Put it away. You have hats of teams you're not a fan of.
It's true.
So I am sus about this.
Hey, go Raul Mondesi, Fernando Valenzuela, Jose Offerman.
Raul Mondesi was a Yankee too for like 5 minutes, but still.
Jet Rodriguez.
Hold on. This is a very important conversation, but I just noticed something and it kind of offends me. Lord Kev, hello chat, and hello Kate, Joe, and Kevin. Oh, okay, never mind. Got it. Jesus Christ, I've had a day. He actually went for the good joke.
He went for the good joke. You have
I thought he was
AKA
talking to
Kevin
himself.
James on the screen, bruh.
I'm used to Scott George hating on me, so like I just assume the chat's turned on me.
Or Jesse Ozog. You are a heat magnate here, but let's talk about AEW overall. There wasn't like a ton of newsworthiness this week. Some good news, just developmental wise, of the fact that Penelope Ford is back. We're seeing some of those women's clearances start to come back. Yuka Sakazaki. Where we were at All Out, between where we are then and now, I feel like feels like an incredible fall off. Like, it is not a healthy time for the product. I feel like they had a really challenging sprint of programming from All In to All Out to Grand Slam to Wrestle Dream. I thought Wrestle Dream was a home run of a pay-per-view, and the follow-up has been terrible. I feel like a lot of what's going on in the women's division is a little concerning. And then on the men's side, I feel like we're just getting the same playbook on so many things, man. Like, set up in interviews, set up in in-ring pull-aparts. Like, the amount of a tag team and another guy to make a trios match that doesn't need to happen is weird. Like, it feels like they're running the same playbooks. They're not their plays, and it feels like they're little brothering themselves to WWE. The format of the show with the book ending, Jon Moxley opening the show every week, feels very, very much like the Bloodline. Maybe better done in some situations, but like we're in the world now where we're taking 15 minutes to get to matches the past few weeks, and I do not like that. So this has been not good. I felt like the women's division especially was on fire, but the follow-up to the reigns have not been great. They can't keep break glass open for Willow Nightingaling. Like, isn't a full plan. They need to get better at that. But I think the talent is there. I think some of the title adjacent stories are really good. I love Deonna and Taya and everything going on there. But like, man, this episode was a microcosm, maybe a macrocosm of everything that's wrong in AEW right now, because it had all my least favorite things on it. Like, this was an example of everything that I think they're doing wrong in one episode. Lack of ring time, 2 squashes on the tag team side, one seemingly out of nowhere. I guess House of Black isn't just singles anymore. Like, it's so chaotic and scattered. Let's just do kind of a state of the union here. I'll start with Joe. Are you as down on it as I am? I feel like even 2 months ago, we were in a completely different place than we are now.
It definitely took a hard pivot from Wrestle Dream. And I think they're going to kind of fall in the same recipe of you have these discombobulated, builds and feuds and one-off matches. And then about a week and a half out before Full Gear, they'll load up a card and it'll be a great card. And then we'll go back in the cycle again.
Yeah, I think it's tricky because I think there's some seeds planted for that of probably getting Darby Allin and Mox, maybe Orange Cassidy and Mox after what we saw tonight. We're probably getting Danny Garcia and Jack Perry, right? Like there is a loose build there, but it's not that far away. And also, it feels like we have whatever Fright Night Dynamite's going to be next week. So I'm sure they were thinking ahead of this episode. But Ryan, like, between the TV specials with Grand Slam and Fright Night Dynamite and the C2 coming up and all these pay-per-views, do you think we're just in a weird kind of readjustment table aligning thing, or have we strayed way further off track than that?
So the people of the Mark Order Nation, allow me to address you since this is a State of the Union. I feel we have strayed from our
James,
vision.
our president.
He was president in the movie Pixels.
I never saw that movie. I don't even know.
It's on Netflix. I had to see how bad it was.
I mean, I only
bad.
know of Paul Blart.
Ryan, before you give your State of the Union, I feel like you need to have the proper governmental hand gestures. And,
It's true.
My people, listen to me. I just went robotic with it. Neither of you have said anything wrong. There's a lot of good, but they're piling a lot of bad on top of it, and it's not working well.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
I'm trying to say something to have. Like, I think the BCC stuff is working well. I think I'm going to compliment that story tonight. I actually like the way they laid that out. Some of the stuff they did that's felt different than other times I've seen it. But you're right. The Daniel Garcia being thrown into the trios with no real explanation. And truthfully, there's a simple explanation there if they want to give it, where they could have just said, Daniel could have went to Pride Party, said, I'll do you a favor. We'll beat the Elite and you'll get your shot. Like you throw that in and it's like, suddenly there's an explanation. The women's division, which was a strength of theirs for like the last 8 months, is a mess right now.
Agreed.
The trios division I thought was getting its feet, but it's not. The tag division seems to kind of maybe be moving if they do what I think they're doing.
Yeah.
And like you said, there's some good things here, some good things there, but at the end of the day, just more matches. What are we doing?
I feel like when AEW was lost in 2023, it was because they were not giving people what they want in the terms of what AEW is doing its greatest. You're getting like these insane matches with this incredible roster. And I think those matches were driving stories. So people that were complaining that stories weren't being set up, I think they just aren't used to them being set up in this way. Tonight was like 2 squashes, a match for the ROH title, of course not on ROH, and of course on here. Shelton Benjamin versus Sammy Guevara, which was fine. Like, that was a decent enough match. I like what they have Shelton doing. Sammy didn't really make sense, so there wasn't really anything going into that. And then the main event, which was a kind of senseless trios match. And I hate when the outcomes of matches have nothing to really do with the people in the ring. Like, that was so much more about, is Mox going to show up? And Johnny Hungy in the parking lot with nunchucks. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, and if you're going to do
Don't
that
insult the
style
nunchucks,
show,
okay?
No, that was not the thing that I had a problem with. Johnny with nunchucks is great. But I feel like there's already a promotion, WWE. I don't know if you've heard of them. But they do this style already, and they're doing it about as well as you can. It's so weird to format your shows in the same way WWE is when they're white hot right now, and you're supposed to present yourself as an alternative. And it's not like they just do that on Raw. I see that shit 3 times a week. Like, oh my God, squashes? Like, I know Jamie was in here saying that the NXT women's division is on fire. Can we get a fucking match with an ending? Like, anywhere in WWE programming. Like, it's so maddening to see that. And then today it's like, okay, we had a definitive result and we had the challenge of the first one, but then that match became about not what the fucking match was about. Like, it's so maddening to me when wrestling is just like the piece of it that's in the background instead of the thing that's driving the stories forward. And you're getting your ass kicked by the company that does it with spectacle. They're doing great right now. So, really, really, really frustrating. The lack of ring time tonight I thought was inexcusable. If you were going to do what you did, there was absolutely no fucking reason we couldn't have gotten 2 women's matches. Like, absolutely no reason. So, and they only have more women coming back, right? We still have a couple more injured people. We still have Kiera Hogan. We still have Tay Conti. We still have, like, people that are going to need places to come back that people want to see. So they better get their ass in gear because this product was a mess. Like, I felt like All In and All Out were 2 great back-to-back pay-per-views. I thought this year's All In kicked last year's ass, to be honest. I thought last year's was pretty good. But, like, tonight, no Swerve, no Ospreay, no MJF in the ring, no Cole in the ring. Like, you finally have a healthy roster, and now none of them are fucking wrestling? What are we doing? Like, what are we doing? So, this happened last year, too. I'm confident that they'll reset it. The C2 is always going to be a great table setting thing. I'm sure next week's Dynamite is going to be huge with the Fright Night Dynamite or whatever. I'm guessing that's where we get a Bobby Lashley debut, especially after this week. But man, just the biggest, when the thing with AEW is like when they miss so fucking hard. When they hit grand slams, but when they miss, I feel like the whiffs are insane. So you want to know why houses are down? Maybe it's because you're going to shows and you're getting 2 squashes, Jericho and Briscoe in a ladder match and a mess of a 6-man that doesn't really need to happen. And Camille versus Amanada, which I guess was kind of one of the brighter parts of the night, but I don't know. An uninspired episode. And Joe, you said it too, like when you saw the card for tonight, you weren't thrilled about what we were seeing. And that's how I felt, and it still was below my expectations. I was like, maybe we'll see if they outkick their coverage, but they did not do that.
What shocks me is they had been on fire for a while on their Dynamites, just great. So I don't understand why in the last few weeks they seem to have just left their playbook. Like, it was working. Across the board, it was much, 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 much better. Like, well, yes, there were things to fix. There's always going to be something to fix. Like, you'll never have a perfect 100%. Show.
But it does not feel like we have these new champions either. Like, do you feel like, oh, sick, I'm so glad Takeshita's international champion right now, Ryan? Because, like,
I forgot he was.
Yeah, like, this episode didn't do shit to drive home the percussions of Wrestle Dream. But we're going to get into all that and more in a couple of things of note. Kind of a quiet week on the AEW side, but they did retain several referees via contracts that they were excited about. No specific names reported by Fightful Select so far, but just always good to keep those people happy and on board too, right? That's a very good thing. And, you know, the rest of the stuff from this week is kind of peripheral, but it's worth talking about, I think. We could talk about Samantha Irvin surprisingly leaving WWE. AEW expected to make an offer. Ricochet kind of shot down pretty quickly that she would be coming in there imminently at least, but certainly an easier schedule to work for a ring announcer. I know that there was a lot of shifting in the ring announcer picture in WWE. A lot of people getting thrown onto dates they weren't originally scheduled for and things like that. She had reportedly, I think, been seeking to do some stuff outside of WWE that they didn't grant her permission to do. So she is moving on to the next chapter of her career, which I think is cool. And the other thing is we had Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, whatever Scott Moore's new promotion is. Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling MLPW and MLW a little close for my liking, but they had a lot of really nice crossover that I actually thought like continued the AEW stories maybe better than tonight's Dynamite episode did. But a lot of AEW stars on that: Takeshita, Athena, a lot of really prominent AEW names and a lot of crossover. You saw highlights from it on tonight's Dynamite. You saw the AEW card get run down on Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. Mauro Ranallo and I think it was Don Callis on commentary. So some good stuff there. But Scott D'Amore's new promotion seems to be walking hand in hand a little bit with AEW's as far as those interpromotional relationships. So if you guys have anything to add, Ryan, I'll start with you. If there's anything you wanted to add about Samantha or Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, you're more than welcome to.
No, I mean, assuming she's got some side projects she wants to do, and she'll probably do something here or there just for like big pops. But listen, she was awesome. And I think it's cool how upset people were she was leaving, in the sense of like, oh no, this awesome person's leaving. But people also take it way too personally.
They sure do.
It has nothing to do with you guys if she's leaving. Like, Maple Leaf Pro School.
Fucking know you.
Yeah, and never will. Maple Leaf Pro School, my only thing is I'm not an indie expert. They stacked that talent on the first show, which is what you do. But I don't see that as a sustainable model.
Yeah, I think that might have been a Let's Create Buzz opener, but you're right. This was not like a showcase of indie darlings show right now. This had Ricochet on it, right? This had Takeshita. Yeah. So things like that are true. They did have some of their own, which I think is cool, but I hear what you're saying. I think that was probably just an initial like, look at us kind of thing, which is cool. But Joe, do you have any thoughts on Samantha Irvin? I mean, AEW has their own pretty like talented roster of ring announcers already, but she's the kind of person you make room for, right?
Yeah, I think you could have her come in different spots here and there. I mean, she doesn't need to be there full time by any means. And the Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, I like the fact that they're trying to work with AEW, so AEW has another dance partner when it comes to kind of the indie pipeline. Especially with TNA working with obviously WWE. So I think AEW needs to build more of the relationships with the smaller promotions to, get more of the talent onto their programming.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, TNA is in an interesting spot right now because they kicked Scott D'Amore to the curb, which I understand. He was not making them money. But it kind of seems like they overvalued TNA's worth. So I don't know how much things are going to hold up. Like, they're not going to become WWE developmental. They already have one of those. I don't know if there's a lot in the catalog that they'd be interested in buying, but to my knowledge, they are not profitable just because they kicked Scott D'Amore out. They still have a really long road to hoe. I don't think there's a home for their catalog or talent at AEW. They've got too much going on already, arguably. So we'll see if TNA can stay above water here, but I think what WrestleNomics has told us historically, and it's kind of more true than ever, is you might start to see some of these smaller promotions pack up that aren't under the WWE or AEW umbrella banner outside of stubbornness and people with a lot of money. Like, NWA isn't doing well. They had a relationship with CW. They got their asses kicked off that. No one is really invested in them. MLW, they had a $20 million settlement from WWE, so we'll see if that keeps them afloat for a while. But I'm interested to see in the next few years what we're looking at, because it is an oversaturated landscape already with more to come. So we'll see. But we are gonna get into this, terrible episode of AEW Dynamite in a minute. But before we do, we want to ask a couple things from you guys. I'm going to ask you to leave a thumbs up on this video if you could. It helps people find us in the algorithm. Super, super helpful. If you could leave a 5-star review if you're listening in audio form, or if you have an iTunes account or a Spotify account, if you could go leave us stars, that is very helpful in helping people discover us and what we do here at the Mark Order Podcast. And we will also tell you about our amazing t-shirts, our beautiful, amazing t-shirts. right here at the Mark Order Podcast Store on Pro Wrestling Tees. My God, look at those 4 breathtaking designs. You've got both of our logos. You've got double-sided. You got the pocket square size. They don't need your money in AEW. What, are you going to go over there and buy an incredible work of art t-shirt from Mel Coleman's designs? Look at this. Look at this, okay? Support us. But if you are going to head over there, I'm sure Pro Wrestling Tees are going to be like, add spooky savings to your shopping cart promotions or whatever they do. They've always got sales going on. Please consider us in helping beat your shipping charges or supporting us however you can. We very, very, very much appreciate it. Eric Freeds, I see you asking about the grays coming back. I wonder if there's an easy way to do that on the back end, because people liked the gray shirts, so maybe we should do them on purpose, but we're going to look into that. I would love to be able to refresh stuff maybe around the holiday season. Maybe we'll be sneaking into your Black Friday carts with some new designs. I think maybe that's a little bit more realistic of a deadline. We are going to pause for a commercial break here, but I do see Kylie sneaking into the chat. Kylie, the gamer princess. Kylie, we love you so much. You are welcome to hang out here and safe here. We thank everybody in the chat. Tim McFowell, Darren Wall, some new names, some new people joining later. Very much appreciated. But we're going to head to commercial, and then we're going to get into this episode of Dynamite that was an episode.
Was it?
We'd like to thank each and every one of you for tuning in every Monday night to listen to The Shining Wizards. If you'd like to continue to support us outside of listening, we've got a few ways for you to do that. If you shop at Amazon, go over to amazon.shiningwizards.com, do your shopping as usual, and when you make your purchase, a little bit of that purchase price will go back to support the show. If you like to wear t-shirts, merch.shiningwizards.com will take you to our Pro Wrestling Tees store, where we've got over a dozen great designs from over 11 years of professional wrestling podcasting. You can become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/wizardspodcast, where each and every week we call out your name as one of our show producers, and the more you support us, the more things that you're entitled to receive, and believe me, they are fantastic. If you can't support us monetarily, if you don't shop at Amazon, that's absolutely fine. Continue to listen to us wherever you listen to us on the World Wide Web, and make sure you like, rate, review, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Doesn't cost you anything, helps us out, and we can continue to bring you the love fest that is The Shining Wizards.
What's up, folks? It's your boy, the Impact Player, Mr. Philly Ray, inviting all of you to check out the Turnbuckle Throwbacks Wrestling Podcast. Join us as we cover all things current in the world of pro wrestling, as well as paying homage to the old school, the squared circle. So listen in and find out why we are the recognized symbol of excellence in sports entertainment broadcasting. Find us on all social media platforms and anywhere you get your podcast from. And as always, we are the proudest members of the Shining Wizards Network and Rant Entertainment Media.
Are you tired of being lied to every day by the mainstream media?
Do you want to know what's really going on in the world?
Do you want to make up your own mind about things and not be told what to think or say?
Then listen to Inconclusive Breakdown, a weekly anti-PC look at the world of entertainment and current events, brought to you without censorship or filters.
You can find us everywhere you listen to podcasts, BitChute, and on ShiningWizardsNetwork.com.
And also, we're a proud member of the Shining Wizards Network.
Got 30 minutes to kill?
Come check out 30 Screams or Less, where we review a horror movie in 30 minutes or less. We cover new movies and old ones too.
We'll give our honest thoughts on the movie, good or shit, as well as a rating of each one that we watch.
New episodes weekly, available on the Shining Wizards Network and wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Corey.
Come check us out at 30 Screams or Less.
G'day guys, my name is Thomas, one half of the Broadcast Podcast. With our podcast, we go back and watch wrestling events from WWE, WWF, WCW, ECW, AEW, and many other wrestling promotions. You can check us out on Twitter at The Broadcast, that's THEBROKAST, and you can also download all episodes on Apple Podcast, Castbox, Castro, and many other podcast apps.
If you like your music heavy, then check out Radioactive Metal on the Shining Wizards Network. For over 16 years now, Radioactive Metal has been one of the longest running podcasts. Over the years, we've interviewed some legendary metal acts had some awesome discussions, and cranked a hell of a lot of tunes. So join your cool Uncle Snowy and his co-host Aaron for the audio mosh pit that is radioactive metal here on the Shining Wizards Network.
Well, the action is underway.
What's up, everyone? When on the Shining Wizards Network, be sure to check out Wrestling Night in Canada. If we're not recording another kick-ass podcast,
Or playing in punk bands.
Or recording kick-ass heavy metal albums.
then we're sitting back, we're grabbing a couple brews, and going over everything to do in the world of pro wrestling.
Because we're from Winnipeg, you idiots.
The Mark Order Podcast is the only show you need if you're looking for dedicated coverage of everything AEW on the Shining Wizards Network. Join us live on YouTube every Wednesday night at 10:15 p.m. Eastern after Dynamite to chat along with the show. If you can't join us live, listen to us on your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on all social channels at MarkOrderPod and use the hashtag #JoinTheMarkOrder, because if you don't find us,
we will find you.
I'm Kevin Rowe.
I'm Al Day.
And we're a couple of down under pounders that co-host Rogue Day Dots, an action figure collecting podcast where we talk about, well, just about anything that tickles our fancy at any given moment.
We're grumpy old men, and sometimes people get on our nerves. And when you get on our nerves, guess what? You get off the lawn.
Get off my lawn, asshole! We also go on a little bit of a mission. We go back and we're grading every wrestling figure line that's out there. I'm talking LJNs. I'm talking Jacks. I'm talking Hasbros. Who doesn't like a little Hulkaplex? It's a Gorilla Brain Wrestling podcast production found on the Shining Wizards Network.
I'm Duke Bags.
Kevin Rowe.
And together we are the co-hosts of Your Duke and Road. If you want to hear about some terrible wrestling shows, we got you covered.
Well, we talk about good ones, too.
We're currently talking about the death of WCW.
I know what we're fucking talking about. Sometimes we get guest spots, like from the Taskmaster. I like to listen to the Your Duke and Rope podcast. They're funny guys. That I like when they talk about the Nards plows. I like Nards plows. That's a good move. And I like the Dungeon of Doom. You know, sometimes I call my butt the Dungeon of Doom. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, Oklahoma.
Let me tell you a little bit about my favorite wrestling podcast. All right. It's a podcast with two men, Duke Bags, Kevin Rowe. They talk about professional wrestling. It's a man's sport. All right? And who better to talk about a man's sport than Duke? Oklahoma.
And once in a while, Vince Russo stops by.
Oh, you piece of shit! If you're not listening to the Your Duke and Rope podcast in the back with the boys, you piece of shit, I don't know what you're doing. It's, you gotta slide one in there. If you're a man, you're talking about something only a man can do. You're talking about sliding one in there. Bro, take the time to slide one in there. All right, bro, you piece of shit. Slide one in there. A Gorilla Brain Wrestling podcast production that you can find on the Shining Wizards Network.
We're back to talk about AEW Dynamite. Guys, leave a thumbs up on this video if you're just joining us now. I know sometimes we get some late joiners to the show. We appreciate you guys popping in. We kind of talked about
Did I ever show you guys my messed up thumbs?
No.
I got like severe hitchhiker's thumb.
Really? Yeah, you really do. Are you double jointed or something?
No, it just makes a perfect 90-degree turn.
Yeah, no, yours goes further than mine.
Both of them do.
I have one that goes straight up, and the other one kind of goes a little bit back.
Like this one goes all the way. I can.
Whoa.
Ugh.
Ew, gross. Let's talk about Dynamite instead of
You said
Brian's
thumbs, and I
gross.
just thought about it.
Leave a
what I
normal
bring.
thumbs up this video.
Oh, my heart.
I didn't even know Kevin James had Hitchhiker's Thumb, to be honest. I was unaware.
Well, you've learned a lot about Kevin James.
We have fun. I did not have that much fun with this episode of Dynamite, but I will do my best to be medium cranky about it. I think there's probably a lot of good stuff coming up. We've got World's End at the end of the year. We have the C2 on the horizon. We have Bobby Lashley debuting. There's a ton happening. We have Winter is coming. There's so many things on the horizon that I think sometimes weeks like this just are a little down. So I am more down on this episode than I am on the product. So especially for we got new people in the chat. I don't want you thinking I'm like corneting myself out here because fuck that shit. Like I love wrestling. Even the wrestling I don't love, I love. So let's dig into it tonight. We've got Jon Moxley opening the show by cutting a promo in this vignette. This is the third week in a row we've got one of these, and this is kind of what I was getting nervous about and what I was alluding to earlier. Like, let's get back in the ring, but they're always good. And here we have him reiterating that all of AEW now works for him as the champion. And he says, imagine what they all could become, because tonight a small part of someone will be destroyed for the greater good. And he gets back in the pickup truck with the rest of his group, and they're in the desert driving the highway. I kind of want to join them. I'll be real. I want to be Marina Shafir's friend. I want to be just driving down the open road with these guys, but
my question is though, why do they all ride in the truck bed when it's a king cab so they can sit 4 or 5?
Easier to get out the fight.
I get that, but like, give someone. Hey, someone should ride shotgun with Claudio.
You're kind of both wrong though, because the answer is because it's fucking badass, bro.
Being unsafe is not badass. Safety is badass.
This is a PSA for the Mark Order podcast and Kevin James. But we do cut to the arena where several members of the AEW locker room are expecting the BCC to arrive in the parking lot, including Kyle O'Reilly, who even on an episode where they're off can do no wrong. He's perfect in every way, shape, and form. Top Flight, Action Andretti, Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, The Butcher, and Dark Order. I have kind of been wondering where Ortiz is in this angle. I feel like he'd be someone that was really, really fun to have involved in this. And I don't know if he's injured or if they just aren't using him because of Santana being absent or whatever, but he's kind of one of those day one guys that I think could be fun for something like this. But this was a decent enough opener. It's just kind of more of the same of what we had the past 3 weeks. The past 3 weeks, it's taken like 20 minutes to get to the in-ring. Tonight it took, I think, between 12 and 15, somewhere in there. I kind of miss them opening right away with in-ring action, but they're not giving us bad stuff in lieu of that. I just feel like I just saw an episode that was bookended just like this on Monday Night Raw and on Friday Night SmackDown. Like they do that a lot, especially with stables and especially with beatdown. So, Joe, what did you think of the content of what we got? And do you prefer when they open with in-ring, or you're okay with kind of the variety of them spicing it up this way?
I like the variety of them spicing it up. I don't like when they do it more than, I mean, like you said, 3 times. That's a trend. So after, once or twice, I would have preferred them not to telegraph it so much and maybe have it a surprise of when Moxley and the BCC were going to come in and attack.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, like you said, the content of the reiterating his mission statement, basically, that's all good and well.
Ryan, do you think that there's camera crews that just hang out in the desert and record people?
So he is the champ, so I think he can demand a camera crew if he wants.
They should have been in the cab. If all the talent was going to be being badass in the flatbed, they should have had production members in the front.
You see it wrap up at the end and they're closing the cameras, guys getting in the truck. But I will say we should have known this wasn't going to be a great episode of Dynamite when you couldn't really hear Mox talk over the music.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is a pre-recorded like promo shot. One person listening to this could have said, guys, we can't hear him.
It was weird
And
too because
fix
I
that.
think that also happened with Jamie Hayters, which was a pre-tape. Very odd. They really run into a lot of audio issues, but usually that's live. Usually it's not on pre-tape. So you're right. That maybe should have been our warning sign. It felt like maybe this was Fright Night in a different way than next week is going to be Fright Night. But we do move to the ring with Tony Schiavone, who's interviewing Hangman Adam Page about his loss at Wrestle Dream to Switchblade. And you have Adam Page gloating about costing Jay White his bout against Christian Cage and nearly destroying Juice Robinson's career. How dare they? He needs to be a juice box for Halloween. I'll accept nothing less. And defeating Austin Gunn so hard that he can't remember his brother's name, which I thought was cute. Colton Gunn then strikes Page from behind. And we get a fight here at ringside, and then back in the ring, Page removes his belt and attempts to strangle Gunn. And White and Robinson intervene, but Adam Page escapes, and Page is limping heavily after the altercation with Gunn. And what else? We get... and then Jay White comes in? Jay White is unaware of how bad Adam Page's leg hurts. But wrestling, but what the fuck do my notes say? I'm sorry. They are a mess. It's because of Jericho. Oh, he says Page may cover up his flaws with blood, barbed wire, and fire all he wants. This I actually really liked. But when the bell sounds, he'll never touch the switchblade. They haven't seen the last of each other, so Paige should ice that leg and they'll see each other again soon. My apologies for how choppy that was. My notes were a fucking mess on that. But Joe, what did you think of this?
First of all, are we doing fun scales, Ryan? Or do you have the fun level?
I mean, do you want to do your own funds? I can gladly bring up the fun scale for you guys.
I'll tell you, and you pull it up, and I tell you my level.
Okay.
I'm here for the Switchblade and Heyman series of them fighting. It makes sense, him coming back and getting his revenge on Heyman. I like the fact that he challenged his in-ring acumen more than his violent part. And I guess my other note for I like the fact that it's weird that we're cheering, the Bang Bang Gang, and they're still doing kind of, heel tendencies with the numbers game and some other things, but they're still the good guy in this picture. So it's just an interesting twist on it.
I think you're right, and I think they could only pull that off against Hangman. You know what I mean? Because Hangman's just like the most mega. He burned a guy's house down. So I think you're right. I think they're more tweener leaning heel, but I think they knew Jay White was going to be people were going to be so excited he's back. So I'm with you on
Ryan,
that.
3.
3 funds for you.
A lot of fun.
God, that guy looks like Kevin James in that picture. It's wild. It's wild.
Could have his own TV show.
Ryan, you are you tend to think things are fun. You lean on the side of fun. I think this was one of the stronger things of the night. Oh, a 4 on the fun scale. Ding, 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 ding.
The only issue I had with this whole thing is its placement. I would have had a match before this. I would have done the beginning, had a match, then had this. But the promo battle fight thing on his own was great. I mean, Hangman comes out so surly. He's just so angry. And I like that he barely gets to mention Austin Gunn before he's attacked. Like they're
smart. They knew.
And I know Joe's point, yes, the Bang Bang Gang is still kind of doing the cheating with the numbers game, but I'm glad that they haven't turned into stupid baby faces where it's like, I forget we have numbers. Like, no, they use them to their advantage and get involved.
I forgot I have friends. Yeah, it's an annoying.
Something happens
trope.
when wrestlers turn babyface. They turn dumb. So I love that this is Switchblade's first feud coming back off of injury because like it proves that he's like a big deal and he's delivering and Hangman of course is delivering. It is interesting that Hangman is also extremely this feud kind of exists outside of the mock stuff. Hangman's his own angry stuff and Jay White's dealing, but in a way, it makes me feel like it's elevating those two because they don't need to be involved in that. They're important enough to do their own thing.
So I agree with both of you. I feel like this was one of the stronger segments of the night. I will say on an episode without Swerve, without Moxley really wrestling, without MJF really wrestling, like you had so many top names not in the ring that I almost wish they just did this match this week and set it up earlier or something. Like, or if they were going to do this segment, they had other top names in the ring. It was a very sparse show from a top talent perspective. But I agree with you about the content and of it being some of the best stuff we got on the night. Adam Page is continuing to deliver, and I couldn't agree more, Ryan. I think I said it last week. Like, the establishment of Jay White as a top face coming back, like him immediately facing Adam Page says, you're a top fucking guy around here, and we know that, I think is like something they desperately needed to do for Switchblade. For frickin' sure. But boy, oh boy, does the talking continue. We get a backstage with Renee Paquette approaching Mariah May, who walks out of the locker room with Anna Jay's luggage, which was a nice touch. She opens it and throws it down the hall and says that Anna Jay doesn't belong in the same ring or locker room as her. Anna Jay arrives and they begin to fight, but Christopher Daniels, being the responsible backstage man that he is, separates them. Holy shit, figure out a different way to set up a feud. Like, there's so many. We are, like, getting very close to NXT parking lot levels of backstage arguments setting things up. But I like this for Anna Jay. She has improved mightily since her New Japan trip, or her trip in Japan, rather, I should say. And, like, her footwork's increased. She seems more sure of herself. Like, really, really good stuff coming from her. Don't love pinning champions, but it was about damn time somebody won an eliminator match, so I'm not mad about that. But I don't know, man. Like, the Mariah May crowning of the champion was about as perfect of a story as it can get. It has felt like it fell off a cliff since. I don't know where Mina Shirakawa is, but that seemed like the obvious thing here. The sooner we can get Toni Storm back, the better, because my assumption is Toni Storm beats her in Australia. I'm guessing that's where we're going. But, like, the best thing to happen to Mariah May's title reign was her match with Willow, and that didn't even really have a story going into it. So the story was Britt Baker got sick and Willow won a qualifying match. So I feel like Mariah May is incredible character-wise, so I think they need to give her more. But Ryan, do you feel like we've gone stale on Mariah May's title reign here?
Yeah, what are we doing?
And, of course, most importantly, the amount of funds you would give this. You got to look at Anna Jay, so it's got to be at least one, I would think. An excitable amount of fun? Okay.
It's the actual... Oh, I mean, I have to look at Anna Jay and Mariah May, but
yes,
the actual event itself was fine. It just should have been like a social thing.
Sure.
Like, I don't mind what they did. It was kind of funny. Are you leaving? No. And then she throws a suitcase. Like, I think that's funny. That's a very petty thing of a champion. It just doesn't belong on Dynamite. It belongs on social as just like a continued builder to the feud that's already existing. You don't need to put it out there for everyone.
I agree. I think they're also trying to be cognizant of the fact that there was only one women's match, so they want to probably give you more segments. But when it's like this and it's squeezed in there, that doesn't really feel like they're giving it its due. So I'm inclined to agree with you. That's something that could have gone on social media, but I love the chat. Jesus, now I'm agreeing with Ryan. Yeah, that's how bad this episode was, okay? Like, even Ryan's not 100% up on it, and we're in agreement, which is goodness
I know it's
gracious.
rare.
I know, it's rare. I also saw Jesse Ozog in here before, and I didn't get a chance to say hi. So, hi, Jesse Ozog. Great to see you, as always. Hello, Laurent, too. I feel like we have maybe some new people in here. Maybe me being legendarily annoyed on Twitter.
I think people are waiting for a rant. And guys, don't worry. We kind of got a little mini one before, but I feel like a big one's coming.
Yeah, the ladder war is gonna be there. So yeah. I think that is not great, but Joe, your thoughts?
I don't want to match Ryan's level of fun, so I'll go with a 1.
Okay. I feel like we crucially need half funds on the scale too, because like I would give this a 1, but There's some stuff I would.
But
get,
how do
like,
you do it? I don't know how to do a half fun face.
That's where we're gonna have to put some work into the production of this show. Now you just look like you're having a stroke.
Yeah, I got it.
I'm with you on Mariah May's title reign. If she's not dropping the belt to Tony until Australia, that's what, over 3 months still. That's a long time of these, 3-week arcs of we'll insert some person here, we'll have a 2 or 3 week little program, and then we'll move on to something else. I don't think her title reign can sustain that without everyone just turning on it.
I feel like you're right in that. I feel like they need an overarching story. Like I felt like Mina Shirakawa was the obvious thing out the gate, and maybe they're gonna do that later here, but it does feel like we'd be limping into Australia, to your point. But not the best.
No.
Not the best, but
especially with the you thought your division was going to be really solid once you brought added Mercedes as well. Like it just wasn't ever. It didn't match what I think a lot of our expectations were about energizing the women's division.
Yeah, and it felt like there was such an emphasis on getting to that point, and I was like, no way, they're just gonna throw it off a cliff, and then they did.
I don't want to get us distracted. But when I hit stop cam, why does it take? I hit stop cam, it takes me off the feed. I just wanted to get up to get something.
Streamyard has made a couple of adjustments of late, so that might be one of them. Is when you hit stop cam, it pulls you off now. But you're allowed to get up and get something if you want.
I know, but I just didn't want people to see my sexy legs.
Oh, you could take yourself off the screen, or you could disappear entirely into your background, but. I will keep the train moving because I'm a fucking professional, okay?
Not a real background? I can't believe that.
What, for Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he lived in that very sleek, modern GQ bachelor pad. So I'm just as confused as you are, unless he's a magician, which is possible. I don't know if Kevin James ever was a magician in the past.
No, he's no Nigel.
No, certainly not.
Nigel exists. I could have used Nigel tonight on commentary.
Oh my god. If Nigel was on commentary.
Yeah, I imagine he got it from me.
I would have. The fun scale would have been much, much higher. Ryan, we see you.
Neither of you were scared when I jumped.
No, we saw you. I'm sorry.
Damn it.
I'm also sorry that. The Kevin James Halloween outfit? Yeah, it looks great.
Real quick, okay, I don't want to cut you up, but this is an actual question.
Yes,
LaRon in chat says, not a fan of Daddy Magic on commentary. How'd you guys feel?
I like Daddy Magic on Rampage, or I liked him on Dark. On the shows that feel more like him and Taz, I always feel like a field trip or whatever. But on the shows that are this dense and this vital of programming, he's not for me. Nigel's obviously my favorite. Ian and Caprice on ROH are my favorites under this umbrella, but obviously can't because Ian cares about his kids like some sort of asshole. But I don't know if I like this. I see what they're going for, but this rotating thing of while Taz is out, I'm not a fan of. I wish they would just the chat saying hire Veda or go to 2-person. I think that's tough because Tony does so many interviews too, and I think that's actually where he's best. But just book Nigel for everything all the time. That's
2 hours is too much for Daddy Magic, and I thought there were too many times where he just couldn't find timing with the rest of them, with the other two, because I don't know if he works with a 3-man booth very often. So there's a lot of times where he was kind of stepping on other people sometimes, and
the chemistry was just off. Yeah, it was a little weird. We don't have that problem with our 3-man booth here at the Mark Order Podcast. We're perfect in literally every way. Ryan's never interrupted us with a joke or a song, and I've certainly never left one of your points of view out by accident when I've been rotating around. So those are things that have never happened here at this show. But let's talk about what happened on the show that we're covering. Let's talk about this Kyle Fletcher promo. That was decent. That was extremely well delivered, but one of the most generic you people-esque promos I've ever heard. And I feel like those people deserve more from the breakup of Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay. I thought the video package that they snuck in was actually more effective. I thought this was too long. I don't think the crowd chants wrap it up as like a heel heat thing. I think this just went on too fucking long. A crowd chanting wrap it up, I think, is one of the worst chants you can probably get, but he responded to that really well. I thought he delivered what he was given very well. It all made sense. It was just very, very generic to me, but he comes out and explains why he turned on Ospreay, says that Don Callis helped Fletcher realize that Ospreay never wanted to reach his full potential because he's selfish. He gives Ospreay one last chance to redeem himself next week, encouraging him to disobey doctor's orders and meet him in the ring before sending him back to the hospital. He talks about his herniated disc that people don't know about all that much, which I thought was good heel work. When the crowd chants wrap it up, his response of Don Callis bought me as much TV time as I want, I thought was pretty damn good for On Your Feet. Like, it points it back at Don Callis, it addresses it. That got like the appropriate heat. But he said he was tired of being compared to Will. Like, he was getting called the next big thing, but instead he was getting called the next Will Ospreay. And he wants to cut all of the comparisons off, and he finishes the segment in the stupidest fucking way possible.
You mean the best way?
Starts shaving his head of his... I said, when he was wearing crop tops and had his hair, I said he looked like a slutty brother on Home Improvement. We've been over that before. But he says, I want to be nothing like you, and he's like yelling it into the camera, and he's shaving his head. I'm like, your hair doesn't look like Will Ospreay's fucking hair. What the fuck are you doing? That's not the thing that's alike about you, and the things that are alike about you, you want to keep because it means being fucking awesome in the ring. Like, I thought that was such a disappointing way to end a promo. He started it with like, you people want to know why I turned, and Will Ospreay wants to satisfy you people. That was like all over this promo, and it just had the most WWE stink on it ever. It's so hard because it's one of those things where there wasn't objectively a lot wrong with this from a wrestling perspective, but it just all felt like stuff I'd heard before, and I felt like we could have done a lot better with this relationship. But Joe, what did you think? And of course, crucially, how many funs do you give it?
We'll go with 2. We'll go with 2.
A 2 fun?
Yeah, 2 fun.
Too sweet?
Hold on. It's not coming up for some reason.
That's what she said.
I've clicked it 4 times. There you go.
Ooh. The 5th time gets it.
Hell yeah.
Right. The whole I'm in your shadow promo, I'm trying to bust out of it. Sure, I get it. I thought, like you said, it was delivered well. I thought Kyle had good inflection on his voice, intensity, good pacing of the promo, of the delivery. I just... The haircutting thing was a little weird for me. I think my favorite part of the promo was when he talked about following the playbook of Ospreay, of him turning on Okada, him turning on Omega. Now he's turning on his mentor. I liked that part of the promo the best, but the rest of it, it was what it was. I feel like I've seen it before, even with the haircutting thing.
Yeah, it just felt like a little... The haircutting thing I didn't buy. Now, Ryan, as someone who has an affinity for very specific time in music, when they inevitably get back together, do you think Kyle Fletcher should sing Wind Beneath My Wings? Because this is very much of like, it must have been cold there in my shadow kind of thing. Or Will Ospreay should sing it, I guess.
Did you ever know that you're my hero? Well, here's the thing, though. He's saying, first of all, I'm with Joe. It's a 2-2.
It's a 2. Okay.
If you don't want to be in Ospreay's shadow, why are you taking his exact steps?
It's a fair question.
But
he did kind of say, like, I joined United Empire because I wanted to be like you, and then like he could never escape that. So that was like half justified. But you have a good point of like, you literally followed him into this country, into this company.
Yeah, I mean, this would have been better as a vignette, like much shorter, pre-taped. This is why I did it. Move on, type deal. Though you're complaining that it's so generic, and then he shaves his head, which is very much not generic. You may not love it, but it is.
But then that made no sense. Like, it was less generic.
What?
That it was like
you want to say just because his hair is slightly different than Osprey's that he shouldn't shave it or he shouldn't dye it a different color or get a haircut? None of that makes sense. You shave it. He should bick it.
it doesn't look anything like his hair. It's not like how much you look like Kevin James. It's not identical.
Yeah,
I hope
I'm
when you
just-
have a falling out with Kevin James, you shave your head. When you want to get
Kevin
away,
James is Ryan's mentor in some ways.
I mean, my hair doesn't get that long as it is. I go to a 2 when I get my haircut, so it's not like I go that long anyway. He needs to bick it, go all the way bald.
It's just to be like, I'm nothing like you. It's like your hair is fucking
Now, what? Let's be
Like-
fair. What would have been awesome
Ked
is
bedhead hair.
they put it on Twitter that he cut his hair, fixed cutting it later in the bathroom. He should have left it as it was.
Mm-hmm.
He should have, and they should have done a hair versus hair match of just two guys with short hair. Oh man. We'll move along here, guys. Leave a thumbs up on this video if you haven't already. Appreciate it so much. But we have Renee Paquette, who's backstage with Ricochet, and I gotta say, he's not lighting the world on fire with his promos, but like, he's been a good promo. He's been decent. He's holding his own. Everybody that was like, pair him with this manager, do that, like, he's fine. But Renee's backstage with him, and he says that he claimed to be a man of his word wherever it took to get to Takeshita, which I like that. That was a good reference to Maple Leaf Wrestling. And despite not getting pinned by Takeshita, he's been cheated out of the championship on 2 occasions. So we're going to get a Takeshita match with him on Rampage to prove that he is beyond this world, which I thought was a nice little catchphrase for Ricochet. I could see that on a t-shirt. And MVP steps in with a business card that says new company, new beginnings, which I thought was an interesting play. I don't see Ricochet going to the Hurt Business, but I think it's a fun... There's a lot of people being aligned with the Hurt Syndicate, I should say. That would be fun opponents for Ricochet, right? Like Ricochet versus Shelton Benjamin, Ricochet versus some of the other rumored names that could possibly be there. I've heard EJ and Duca and Lee Johnson as possibilities to go over there. Obviously, Bobby Lashley's coming in, so I think that's a fun angle. I don't see him joining the Hurt Syndicate, but perfectly decent backstage. Like, he's not a paralyzingly bad promo that WWE shouldn't have been putting him on TV when he does what he does in the ring. He's fucking ridiculous. So I kind of like this, but Ryan, we'll start with you. What do you think of this backstage?
I'm gonna say this. You said, he wasn't lighting the world on fire with promos, but my world's on fire. How about yours, Joe? I mean, that's the way I like it, and I'll never get bored.
Come on, baby, light my fire.
No, I was singing All Star by Smash Mouth.
No, I went through yours. Sorry.
Where did Kate go?
Where did she ever go?
Oh no, she's lost in the darkness.
Hello, darkness.
I'll take her off stream for now.
Come on, Ron.
I'm going slow. I like, he's, again, promos will never be his strongest thing. They're just not. But he sounds more natural in this, except for when he did that like one WWE like point to the sky, say his catchphrase thing. I like that they acknowledge the history with the Hurt Business Syndicate, whatever they're going to call themselves. I don't think he should go heel, though. I don't think he should embrace them. I think he's very good as a babyface, and he's quite good at it. So, and his style lends itself to babyface wrestling more than heel wrestling. That high flyer, insane stuff. It just fits better. What say you, Mr. Joseph?
I'm curious to see who he'll end up having help back him up when he inevitably has to face off against the Hurt Syndicate because he turns them down. But I thought he did a good promo. I think maybe the source of Ricochet's promo abilities comes with wearing really nice looking suits. I feel like every time he has a nice suit on in the back, he's delivering a good promo.
Does have nice suits. I will point out for anyone listening or watching, where's Kate? She didn't realize her computer wasn't charging. I guess her laptop wasn't charging. Now, I don't know about you, Joe, but when I look at my laptop, well, I'm not using a laptop right now, but when I use a laptop, there's a little battery symbol in the corner. And generally speaking, it tells you if it's charging or not. Am I wrong?
Yes, that, and I feel like it also says once it hits a critical level of low battery, it pops up a message that says, you're at 10% or something.
Exactly. So I find this very funny that she...
Yeah. Maybe she's just really into her notes from this banger of an episode.
I mean, she just she's in a corner crying over the episode.
Should we move on to another segment?
I'm pulling up the segments. I was not keeping track.
Well, we did I feel like we did blow by the Sammy Shelton match. That was the first match of the night.
She legitimately just skipped it.
I thought maybe she was going to wait until we got some Hurt Syndicate things, but...
So you had Shammy versus Shelton. They had a fun match. That Sammy coming in with his, is it the trios or the tag title? 6-man or the tag? What does he have?
He's the ROH tag team champion.
He's the tag. Sorry,
I forget too.
I always get confused because Dustin Rhodes is involved in both. He comes in challenging Shelton. I don't think it was for anything, but just trying to get his wins on Dynamite. Like I said, I liked Sam. So the one move that since she's not here, I'm calling out a move where Sammy jumped off the top rope and Shelton super kicked Sammy is a callback to Shelton versus Shawn Michaels when Shelton did that and Shawn Michaels super kicked him. But to me, what I find interesting about this match is if you listen to the crowd when Sammy's introduced, very little reaction, if any. They just not boos, nothing, just nothing. A few minutes in this match, he was getting some pretty big cheers when they let him get going with his moves. And that's been always my part with him is just let the man wrestle. He has a fun style and it's very unique. And why wouldn't you just let him wrestle and get over it? It always seemed crazy to me that they couldn't figure that part out. That that's his best move, but best move to get over, I should say, not his best individual move. But Shelton does win this match with his Exploder Power Slam. I would vote this a nice 3 out of 3 on the fun scale.
Okay.
What say you, Mr. Joe?
I'm with you on the 3. I don't know why we got this match. Maybe it's just because it was a Sammy Guevara dream match to have with Shelton. But and I agree with you that Sammy just isn't a natural babyface to me. I feel like people want to boo him for the most part. The only time he gets over really is in the ring and when he doesn't talk as much, which I think would probably be better for him. But
is
plus
it
match
so sad that I know you're talking about Sammy Guevara and my computer died and I have no context for that?
It's consistency, right? He's very on brand.
Did you purposely skip his match, Kate?
No, you know what? I did not. I just left that out of the rundown. That was
That's
one
how
of the better
memorable
things
this match was to you.
And I love Shelton. And I think it could go interesting places. It's a lot of ifs, right? It's a lot of I've heard EJ and Duca and Lee Johnson have been floated for the Hurt Syndicate. So if that leads to an ROH tag match between Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes versus Lee J, then that's something. But
ooh, Lee J, what a name.
Lee J, baby. Yeah, that's what they call themselves. I wish I could take credit for that, but
I'm a few weeks behind on my ROH.
Good. So are they. So that's fine. They're a few 14 months or so behind. But I love seeing Shelton in action. Just like proves everybody right that he was one of the best to ever do it. It's always cool when people get to face people they were fans of as kids too. So I'm here for that. I would say this isn't the match I would do when the rest of your card was as thin as it is. Like that ain't it. So
it was a collision match to me. I mean, it felt like it should have been on collision.
Or Rampage.
Sure. I think it's setting things up probably for next week's, like with Lashley coming out. But that seems to be angled towards Swerve anyway, to your point. So
I do like how they're making Shelton look. I mean, I feel like he's like this Leo Rush, and in this one, he's been really 70% offense in the matches. Like he's been dominant and kind of establishing him as a serious threat instead of just being a mid-card guy, you know? So I kind of like that, establishing him toward the top with Bobby coming.
Yeah, I think it's what we wanted for Shelton for a long time, right? So I could, if this was in a stronger episode of Dynamite, I don't blink twice at it. But when I'm like, this is one of the matches that was supposed to carry Dynamite, no. So, especially because there wasn't really anything going into it between Shelton and Sammy, right? Like, this was just a video package for Sammy, and then they had a match. So, I am with you there. Did you guys want to talk about Brian Cage and Lance Archer? Is that where we left off?
What's there to talk about? What happened?
They won. They squashed the team.
They smooshed enhancement talent.
Yeah, like, why is this on Dynamite?
To establish Brian Cage and Lance Archer as a dominant tag team for a belt that they're not going to be anywhere near for a while, I feel like. I don't know.
And do you need to establish two guys of that size as a dominant team?
I don't hate it. Like, for me, like with Wardlow, you had to have him squash a bunch of people because we didn't know who he was, right? We know who both of these guys are a little bit, but like neither of these guys have had a consistent creative track. So I don't hate it because they've both mostly been losers. So yeah, get them some wins. Like I can't have my cake and eat it too, right? I can't complain about people losing upward and then something like this, but this is actually, Ryan's gonna love this. This is actually where not having AEW Dark hurts you, because when people were picking up wins to pad their records, you could point to that and be like, hey, you haven't seen a ton of them on TV, but they've been ripping through independent talent on AEW Dark, and then you have a couple of these, and then all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, these guys have 40 wins or whatever, because they were squashing people twice a week on Dark. So that's where the rankings helped you out.
Dark was good for kayfabe.
It honestly was. It was good for a lot of things. Like I don't have the sentimental attachment to AEW Dark that you do, but it was a productive vehicle. Like it was great for independent talent, like a huge talent discovery tool. Let independent talent that wasn't getting signed go viral on their own. Gave people a place to not get rusty. Like that's a thing. Still getting your reps in, especially for younger talent. And when the rankings were a thing, it gave you a place to pad your records. So now that's what I guess ROH is.
They don't even have a cool tag team name.
They don't, and I don't know what do you call Brian Cage and Lance Archer?
Well, he's Brian Cage. He's the Murder Hawk monster.
Murder Hawk Wolverine?
I thought I think he's a Murder Hawk. I thought maybe who's Murder?
It's like there's got to be something with like who letting the hawk out of the cage. There's got to be like a thing there, or like everybody dies. Get your shit in. Yeah, even their catchphrases don't like line up. So, Murder Machine. Holy shit, that's right there. Oh my god, that's a cool name. I'm gonna Darren Walls. I'm gonna text someone I know that name. And if it shows up on AEW, screenshot this so that you can take a victory lap. Brian Cage. I'm literally texting someone I know right now. That's too good. Archer, need to...
So then Murder Machine would have to face MXM for the right to have Eminem.
It's true. Okay. That was fun. All right. Who in the SGS said that? Oh, that's such a great name. I will give them.
That is a great
credit.
name.
You don't know it was Will Washington I was texting. I have many contacts. I am very important.
Guys, it was Bill Boshington.
It was William, but it was actually Starks. It was Billy Starks. I have contacts. You never know. You never know. I'm so glad there's 0% of me that would ever want to go into Scoops though. So
Hey Kate, how come I just got a text from you that says Murder Machine is a great name?
No, she wants to murder you. I think that's what it meant. I think
yeah, that was
correct.
Totally different. Totally different. Just Ricardo had it too. Okay. I love Murder Machine. That's so fun. That was a more productive, us talking about that was a more productive use of time than this match on the show.
Yeah.
But we're going to move along into the thing I'm going to rant about most. So I'm going to throw it to Ryan before I throw it to Joe before I cry. Just cry on screen because Chris Jericho predictably is your ROH World Champion in this ladder war match. And this whole thing was a fucking disgrace. Ryan, I'll let you go first, but I'm so disheartened that they were like, Jericho can take the shot at Jay Briscoe and then he's gonna win is so fucking gross to me. I hate everything about this. The match was medium. Go ahead, Ryan.
So I gotta be honest. I'm gonna be fair here. Match was a 2. The outcome, if you had been around me, was an audible cackle, which makes it a 4. Because I knew the Kate reaction of this. So I literally cackled at what they just did. Especially because the ending was so terrible. I hate, he got carried up by Bill. Like, what? And I'll tell you where it lost me. You're actually going to hear me shit on something, so be prepared.
Oh my god, is 0 fun?
I'm going to tell you we don't, we do have it. You know, we do.
Yeah.
This is something that gets a 0. The match ends, and you have Rocky Romero and Ishii come out. Oh, I'm going to challenge Jericho next. Now I know Romero chased Bounty Hunter Keith away, but where was Ishii for Big Bill? Ishii just let fucking Mark Briscoe lose?
Kyle O'Reilly came out at the front of this and then just went away.
Like,
where's the rest of the conglomeration in all of this?
The newest member of the conglomeration is the only one who showed up.
The only one I forgive is Kate just realizing that?
No, just like the layers of how catastrophically bad these are just continue to peel back.
Yeah, the only one I forgive is Orange Cassidy. He was distracted. I get that.
Sure.
But where, like, I don't like the carrying up thing. Like, that bothers me. I think it's a very stupid way to end it.
Have you met Jericho's in-ring ability here? I mean, that's what do you expect?
He's got to get carried all over the place, man.
Yeah, I get that. But, like, I just want to say, like, I understand what they're doing there. It's not my favorite, but I understand it. But then to immediately have in-person Ishii come out, I'm like, what are we doing? Especially because Ishii's tied in with them. It's not like he was another stranger and he was just waiting to pick the bones of the winner.
Why didn't they just fucking do this with the FTW belt?
I don't fucking know.
Honest to God. Honest to God. Joe?
I'm going to yield my time to the representative in black from Central New Jersey.
Back in August, Shane Taylor challenged for the ROH title for the second time. he has had 0 title shots. He got one against Samoa Joe, but he never had a shot at the world title. There have been no contenders built up on ROH for either men's title. Not Elias Jr., certainly not Mark Briscoe, because he's never the fuck around on the show. And the couple times that he is, it's a thrown together thing. The lineage of the ROH title has been fucking ridiculous since the Tony Khan era. The excuse of, well, if it's on Jericho, maybe they'll get TV. It didn't work the first time they fucking tried it. You think that's going to work now? And then to have the contender after be Ishii, somebody, again, who's not on the program. What the fuck message are you sending to your ROH talent? Honest to God. None of the tag teams are ever in contendership for the tag titles. That tag team of Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara got together once, and then they won the tag titles and the trios titles. I don't know if the Von Erichs aren't allowed to leave Texas or whatever, but they're never on the fucking show in a trio either. Those titles, absent from the program. Claudio, Jericho, Mark Briscoe, Jericho again, Eddie Kingston. What the fuck are we doing with the ROH title not being held by ROH talent, not being contended for by ROH talent, certainly never on pay-per-views, and you don't have your own fucking titles defended on this fucking show? Where are your titles for AEW? Because it's not like there's so many of them getting defended on Collision or Rampage, because those shows don't even fucking matter, and this one's this big of a mess? You gotta be fucking kidding me. And on top of all that, this Nueve angle is dog shit. Absolute dog shit. You have him be the one to so unearned bring up Jay Briscoe, as if they were constantly crossing paths in ROH back in the day. You have Mark vindicate that. Jericho gets a rematch for no fucking reason. Doesn't win even a thrown together qualifier. Just, I'm still mad about Jay even though I already beat you. Let's have a ladder wars match about it. Are you fucking kidding me? This guy takes an unearned shot at Jay and then ends up winning the title? Holy shit, this is fucking stupid. And you have Big Bill come in, put Mark Briscoe through the table. They're saying it in the chat. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, holy shit, Bill's going to turn on Jericho. We're going to get a no contest, and then Mark's going to win the third one of these. Perfect. No, he carries him up the fucking ladder. They've been sowing the seeds of dissension between this group for a while now. Color me crazy shocked that it's taking this fucking long to break up the group. Absolutely ridiculous.
It's not working.
This is so stupid. This is so fucking stupid. And why on God's green earth, if you work in ROH, are you motivated to do fucking anything? Honest to God, there are no titles on the program. They accidentally almost ran back an Outrunners and Infantry feud, and then we're like, oh, never mind. Actually, they're going to be feuding with the Iron Savages. Nobody knows what fucking division they're working in. There's no men's singles talent being built for either title in either division. Champions aren't around. Why would they? Lee Moriarty has a title and Shane Taylor's just fucking hanging out. Shane Taylor! Probably the realest promo outside of Eddie Kingston and Kevin Owens in the industry. Just hanging out, doing his best, having thrown together tag matches with Lee Moriarty for no reason, challenging for titles that he's not getting shots at. Fucking ridiculous. Genuinely a disgrace. And don't give me, oh well, it's being shopped around for TV. This idea fucking failed the first time. They were shopping for this the first time with Jericho as champion. That was the whole excuse. And what did it do? Crowded Dynamite and Collision, or Collision didn't exist at that point. It was just yet another title on Dynamite. And guess what? When you have a pay-per-view and you are trying to attract new fans and everybody has a title on your show, nobody feels fucking important because everybody's walking around with a belt and nobody knows what they mean anymore. I don't even think AEW knows what they mean anymore. Clean up your shit. Ridiculous. We still don't know what happened with the Continental titles. It's a Triple Crown, but also no, it's not. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
No, they separated them out.
Together. They separated them out, but that's not how it was presented going into the tournament. How do you not know the basics of what your titles are on your show? I actually don't think AEW has too many titles. I think they have too many on Dynamite and not spread out across their brands, and they have too many other people's titles coming on their show all the fucking time. Ridiculous.
So to summarize, 4 out of 4, really fun.
That was yours because of the rant I just went on.
I don't know.
I was a hard 0. Negative points. If this was in the Tokyo Dome, it still wouldn't even register. Even the Tokyo Dome can't bail this shit out for me. Let's talk about the rest of this stupid show.
Guys, Kate covers ROH every Thursday on.
I sure do.
So go watch that on Fightful.
Sure wouldn't be paying for it if I wasn't getting paid to cover it. Because what the fuck is the point? Anyway, when I tweet, you know what upset me today? When I tweet something like give ROH a chance and half the likes are from talent that work in ROH, that shit makes me upset. Because whatever, I'm a fan of wrestling. I can watch and do watch every other promotion under the fucking sun. When talent is fucking liking those, that breaks my heart. We got a Camille versus Chris Statlander vignette airing. Chris Statlander, it turns out, works out. I don't know if you guys knew. Did you guys know that Chris Statlander works out? Could you tell?
Could not have guessed. Not have guessed.
I thought she was really strong from being an alien.
You know, she does have she's freakishly strong, like out of this world strong.
Like more than a woman strong? Like
more than a woman strong. Interesting you should say that. For real, if you guys have any comments, thoughts. It kind of really was just Chris Statlander being like, I'm a face now and I work out.
That's it. I got nothing. I'll talk about her more later.
We have Adam Cole coming out, and we hear a beautiful sound. This was, after such an aggravating segment, this was one of the most beautiful things I ever heard. By the way, was could hear a pin drop after the Jericho win. Nobody gave a fuck. That was bad.
Nope.
But from that silence, just a few minutes later, we hear Adam from Roddy Strong, Mike Bennett, and Matt Taven, who all come out. They're all on the same page regarding MJF. They point out all of the dastardly things about MJF for the second week in a row. So for all the people who were like, explain it, they did twice. And Roddy says he wants a match with Max first, to which I said, yes, please sign me up for that. I want to see that in the ring with Roddy style and the way MJF works. Oh, all day. But then we get an MJF call-in from the massage table here, which I thought was fun. He says that he will give a match to either Roddy or Adam. Whoever wins the first 3 matches will be able to face him at AEW Full Gear. And then Max says that he won't appear until the pay-per-view. So they agree, and everybody has a big Full House style group hug here, and the Undisputed Kingdom leave together. I complain about how all of the playbooks are set up the same. This is a good one. I feel like this is a really, really good one of who's going to face Max first. Everybody in the group has to face each other, I think is a good call. That's something they haven't done a lot. They haven't gone to that well a ton. I really like that blueprint for a feud. It lets Max, I'm assuming, is still filming on Happy Gilmore 2. Good for him for landing that role. But good for him for making an effort to be on the show, even when he's not on the show. I thought this was cute. No qualms about this for me. I'm glad that they've continued to explain why they are no longer brochachos. And I am glad that Adam Cole is here. Joe, we'll throw it to you first.
I like what they're doing, like you said, but I don't want them to end up in a three-man match. I feel like that's an easy, predictable way of doing this. When you have two guys like Roddy and Cole, and then you get the inevitable, Roddy's going to turn on Cole or something. It's just, I have that feeling like it's going to go that way, where the Undisputed Kingdom either turns on Adam or goes with Max, or something happens like that. But I was really excited for the idea of Roddy versus MJF to begin with.
Me too. And I think it ends up going that way anyway.
I hope so.
Yeah, I can't imagine it would be like, unless they're going to have MJF go through all three of them, which I don't think there's a ton of value to. I think Roddy versus Max is a good call, but Ryan, what did you? Oh, go ahead.
I'm just saying, one thing I don't know if we touched on when you were recapping was Kyle's involvement again, with him watching from backstage, watching the segment.
He looks sad.
Guys, Kyle already had a really hard year, okay? Like, I can't handle sad Kyle. He already has those puppy dog eyes. It's too much. It's too much. But him being wistful for his other friends, I think, sets up either A, really fun possibilities between the conglomeration and the Undisputed Kingdom, or B, feels like the conglomeration is something that can kind of fizzle as it needs to. Like, I don't think that's like they all have to break up and explain themselves. They've always been kind of a ragtag group, always had members moving in and out. Do you have a preference to that, Joe? Would you like to see those stables kind of face each other, or for custody of Kyle, or?
No, I think the conglomeration should just fizzle out. I mean, we saw tonight how disloyal they were to each other.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how much of a group is it when they're not around and working as a team? But I want Kyle to get more injected into this Roddy Adam tug of war again.
Ryan, can you explain to Joe how to pronounce Adam's name?
Adam, like that?
Better.
Okay.
Close. Pretty good for Kevin James, I'll say.
Thank you. Carrie!
That's the closest you've ever seemed to him, honestly.
Perfect. I don't like sad Kyle.
I don't know if he was sad. I really don't.
He was sad.
Cool.
That was sadness in the eyes of, those are my friends. These are my friends.
Everybody wants to be friends with Kyle because he's the best. And he's so cool because he has bucket hats.
So I like that they actually tried to apply logic here. Like, they didn't just drop the Undisputed Kingdom Adam Cole thing. They were like, hey, we're actually going to put a story here, which I really enjoyed.
Sorry, not to interrupt, but it's Adam Cole, baby.
Adam Cole, bye-bye.
You have to yell at him and then do that?
Well, no, I mean, Cole, baby. So, give up halfway through. That's the way to live life. This is going to be some fun matches.
Yes.
And I also appreciate MJF going, make wrestlers have to face a bunch of people in order to have the right to wrestle me. Classic MJF.
That was so great. I like when MJF is funny because he's very good at it, in my opinion. So I am with you. More people filtering into the chat. Thank you so much. 1LT Photo is here. Jesse Ozog is sticking around despite Ryan being here. It's McFowle's here. He was here earlier, but Meet Normus also joining. Having a midnight steak. You're a wild man.
Oh my God, he's so meaty.
We do get another video package for Jamie Hayter and Penelope Ford. This, my notes also auto-corrected Renee Paquette to Renee Pickett. So that's funny. But I couldn't really hear Jamie Hayter on this, which is kind of a bummer, but I do like this as a comeback feud for Penelope Ford. I think it's a good way to keep Jamie Hayter out of the title picture until she's in it, because they are heel heavy right now. So inevitably her as a face will be in contendership for titles, I think, very soon. Joe, what did you think of this video package? And are you digging the Jamie Hayter and Penelope Ford revival here? I'm digging the 70s look, as everybody else seems to be.
I am. I think, first of all, I like the fact that we're giving Penelope Ford a story. I feel like it's been a long time since we've done anything to kind of feature her as a singles person. So
yeah, well, she was injured for a very long time.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm loving that. And then I also realized I think I'm just a sucker for any British accent that delivers a promo, whether it's Mariah May, whether it's Jamie Hayter. I feel like I just get lost in their words. It's I don't know. It's very soothing.
It melts your heart, huh?
It does.
It just takes you to a different place.
They could read something horribly awful, and I'd be like, okay, that sounds great. But yeah, I don't see Jamie losing this feud, but as long as it's a storyline that's not around the championship, so it's nice to have you have the championship storyline, you have this one, you have Mercedes and Stat, and so at least we have a couple of different options.
Title Jace stories. Still one of the better things going on in the women's division right now. I think Thunder Rosa on her way back as well, which is good because we need some faces. It was kind of only Willow really there as a top face for a while. But Ryan, do you get lost in the beautiful voice and look of Jamie Hayter?
I'm not one for the accent, I'll be honest.
Wow, he's like
someone who has an accent, really.
Yeah, and I hate my own. You think I'm
accent,
gonna like someone else's?
It's accent jealousy is what it is.
No, I mean, plus Penelope's from Philly, so I should support the local talent.
A class act. Not everyone from Philly is. Certainly not all female wrestlers.
That's true. But Laurent Ford in chat had a good idea. Penelope needs to wrestle before she gets into the ring with Jamie, so she needs to have like a TV Rampage something, just some match. So like a little bit of ring rust. But I like this. I like the story that they're having here. It's both of them are coming back from injury. They weren't ready to put Jamie right back into the title picture wherever she belongs. So give her something to work with, and it gives Penelope a big time story to come back to. I think this was fun. Wait. Kate, wait. God damn it, Kate. Just wait.
I'm not.
Fun all around.
Wow. That seems aggressively over fun.
I'm digging the rivalry. So
that was. I agree with you, Joe. I feel like that was a more standard amount of fun that shouldn't max out.
You guys just don't have fun.
Half.
Also, let's be fair here. No, let's be fair here. Tonight's episode is getting graded on a curve.
That's. I get it.
Like a Ryan thumb curve? Like what kind of curve are we talking here?
I press them together, they go all the way back.
Oh, don't touch those tips.
Yeah, no, we'll leave the tip touching for our friends at MXM. Hey, newbies! It would be really cool if you left a thumbs up on our video to help people find us in the algorithm as we are coming down the home stretch of this episode of Dynamite. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us this evening. Sorry, my computer died before I was gone and I reappeared. Nobody even said my name like Joe Hendry, but...
Actually, we said it a lot. We were making fun of you.
Did you do the clap, though?
No.
No, Ryan has to clap.
Told you that in private, Joe.
Like the STD. House of Black beat some jobbers. Hey, that's neat. And after, we get Buddy Matthews challenging Adam Cole, saying that he's fragile, which I kind of liked. I feel like that's a really, really fun opener for Adam Cole since we're waiting on the inevitable MJF stuff. I think that's a cool welcome back. And I wouldn't be mad about seeing him versus Malachi Black or Brody King either. Hot take, trios should probably compete in the trios division at some point. But
welcome back.
But I'm not like mad about this program. I'm kind of okay because Adam Cole also has backup, right? So we'll probably eventually get stable versus stable out of this. But what do you think, Ryan?
I'm
sorry, Jamie Hayter Penelope Ford vignette gets 4 funds.
I'm gonna tell you
Cole versus Buddy Matthews gets nah.
We went right to the feud, not to the match. I didn't know if I was grading these on 2 separate curves.
No, well, based on what we got tonight.
Because the match was a squash. What the fuck are we doing? The feud's gonna be awesome. I feel like I'm missing something. Did they have some story that I'm missing?
Nope.
Okay.
I mean, they pretty much
No.
addressed it after in the backstage when he confirmed, Buddy's like, why did you call me out?
But that was it.
Well, I think it's House of Black is picking on Adam Cole because he's fragile, right? He keeps getting injured, so it's kind of just like the predators picking on the prey. I think this is the beginning of the story.
Okay, well then I can live with that. Then that'll be a 4 out of 4. It's the House of Black versus the House of Black, Silver, and Gold. I got it.
Joe, your thoughts on this incredible match? So much to talk about, and the segment that we got after.
The match was, if anything deserved that 11-star match, like Tokyo Dome, like this was up there. Maybe second only to the Lance Archer Murder Machine tag team win. But
hot tag team action tonight.
It was. I feel like if it gives House of Black a direction going forward, like you said, if they're going to be that trio who just goes out to eliminate fragile wrestlers or who they perceive as fragile, then I'm all for it, because I feel like otherwise they don't seem to have direction when they're not going after the trio championship. Yeah. Oftentimes they're in a tag team, or a lot of times recently they've been doing singles matches with, Brody doing his thing. Like, we don't know what is he the face, is he with the House of Black still. So I like that aspect of it, and it'll be a fun match. I mean, Buddy and Cole. I mean, come on.
Hell yeah, that'll be fun. Also, hoping that Julia Hart is on her comeback soon. We were talking about injured women making returns. I'm hoping she is on the list. And speaking of women's action, we get Camille defeating Queen Amanada here, and Chris Statlander arriving to confront Camille and Mercedes, who is, I swear to God, as good as a ringside stooge as she is a wrestler. This was really fun to watch her. And you get Stat attacking her and brawling with Camille. When I say paint by numbers, tired playbook stuff, this is what I mean. This is like the most obvious, predictable stuff in the world. Sometimes predictable is good, but when your whole show is full of it, that is not good. That is not good. So, a decent enough match. I feel like the energy had been really sucked out of the crowd by this point, and this was in the tough spot already anyway. So, yeah, I don't think the crowd was there for it, but at least we got a match. Joe, your thoughts?
This was basically my thought. It was kind of disjointed and rough at the beginning. It picked up after the commercial break, after the picture-in-picture. I really like Queen Amanada's. I like her ground game. A lot of her
yes, underrated part of her. Yeah.
Her grappling and her submission holds were nice. She had some nice transitions into that, dragon, almost like dragon sleeper. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I kind of felt like they did the match in reverse, where I thought they should have had her face Camille first and then Mercedes.
Yes.
And you feel like it'd be like, you have to beat my heavy to get to me if you want a match, and I get why obviously Camille wins clean to build her match with Statlander, but those were only my only observations. Otherwise, it was okay, I guess. I mean, it wasn't my favorite match. I thought Amanada's match last week against Mercedes was better, but
sure, I agree, and I agree with the chat too. It started rough, but kind of found its rhythm once it settled in. This whole show felt so out of whack. I wouldn't be surprised if there was something before or after this that was rushed or all over the place or whatever. But Ryan, I was getting chicken tenders. So what? What did you think of this?
Kind of agree with what everyone's saying. There's not a lot to it. A couple things, though, I would say Camille probably should be wrestling more matches.
I'm glad you said that, because I actually meant to bring that up too. She also just hasn't had a lot of in-ring reps in AEW in a while, and she was signed and not being used for a while. So that's a good point, and I meant to actually bring that up myself.
Yeah, she needs more matches so that she can just improve. And it's not a knock on her. You need reps, and even if you're good, you just need to. We've seen it time and time again. People are better the more they wrestle. I'm wondering where they go with Queen Amanada from here.
Yeah, they were setting up something, it felt like, with Serena Deeb. So if this ends up being a thing where Serena's like, close but no cigar a couple times, like, if you join my dojo, I'll be able to help you, like, kind of make it past that barrier. I think that something could be very fun. I hope they didn't just drop it, because that would suck.
Agreed. So, yeah, it was fun, but I just want to see where they go from here.
I agree. We move on to Christian Cage arriving, and the group of wrestlers waiting outside is waiting for BCC, and they almost attack Christian, but not him. But Hook sees Christian and his gang and says backstage that the person who attacked him, he saw the security footage and that they're in the ring right now. So he rushes to the ring, but Sabian gives him the low blow before he can attack Christian, and Christian starts ordering Sabian to go stand in the corner, and Nick Wayne hits the Wayne's World on Hook, and Christian hits the kill switch on Hook standing over his contract. They have done 2 whodunit angles, and both times the person who done it is who we all assumed. That kind of the devil
Just
one went
really
on.
good detectives.
You know what it is? I think we're basically Monk. You know, we're quirky, but we figured out.
I'm more Sean from Psych, but I get it.
No, you're
I've
Kevin
put it
James.
both ways.
You're
Great
Kevin
Psych
James.
quote. Great Psych. No, Joe quoted Psych. He.
I'll psych you out in the end. You are a mall cop, so let's
I
not
know.
overestimate
You know.
our
Telling
our
the truth.
authoritative abilities here. But
Don't have any proof.
this did not go on nearly as long as the double angle, but I think it's kind of boring when you do 2 whodunit angles and it's everyone that we figured it was going to be, especially when you have Will Hobbs waiting in the rings and Ricky Starks on the shelf somewhere. Joe was a little let down from this. I think it would be kind of cool if Christian has to defend his contract against Hook, though. That's kind of a good way to make Hook feel important still.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, especially with Christian, vying for the FCW championship and all that stuff. Or I feel like it would make it a little bit more even. But really, this whole Hook and Christian program, this is the wild card that I'm interested in the most out of it all.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because he's just kind of the new element. So
I am excited that Kip Sabian is on television. I do think the Christian act needs to get the young talent in match rotation more often, because I feel like people are still more excited to see Christian than they are Nick Wayne by a sizable amount, and that's not, to me, the temperature of a stable being over.
maybe he needs to shave his head so he's out of Christian's shadow and not compared to his father.
You, even though our hair is not the same at all. Ryan, can you be outworked like Christian
No.
Cage?
Oh yeah, I'm lazy as shit. Never. Why did I say no? But
Hi, pretty.
I don't necessarily understand all this. They're going somewhere because you have Christian saying it's not what you think. So I'm very curious. I did really appreciate Christian putting Kip Sabian in the corner like a child. Like, you just stand there. I know what you're doing. You just stand there, kid.
It was pretty good. He's great. Like, none of my complaints are that, for sure. He's excellent with this.
That's all I got. There's nothing too much to this segment. I want to see how it plays out.
Well, guys, that brings us to our main event of the evening, which is Daniel Garcia and Private Party versus the Elite. Both of these guys, everybody has something that somebody else wants in this, right? So this is pretty well done. This is pretty well done. You have Danny Garcia and Private Party winning, and after the match, you have Zay saying that he pinned Matt and challenging them for another tag title match, saying, we beat you guys a few times now. I think we deserve it. And the Bucks agree to it, but say that Private Party have to split up if they lose. I think Private Party's going to win because I don't see them splitting them up. I don't think they're overwhelmingly strong as singles wrestlers that you would do that. And I think they were white hot at Wrestle Dream, so they probably want to capitalize while the getting's good. And I certainly don't think the Bucks need this to go anywhere. I also think that Jack Perry's probably losing to Danny Garcia at Full Gear, so the Elite starting to lose golds is a good rhythm to get in, and Continental Classic's coming up, so Okada can lose his title too. The timing of this makes sense. And then also post-match, the Blackpool Combat Club arrive and attack Danny Garcia and Private Party. Mox pulls Chuck Taylor, who we saw earlier in the night with Orange Cassidy, out from backstage, and they Pillmanize his damn neck. Rest of the roster comes out, led by Orange Cassidy, who is just heartbroken. Absolutely heartbroken here. Ryan, just to recap, we had the match, we had the post-match from Zay, and we had the BCC angle. What are your thoughts and your funds on all of those things?
All right, you gotta stay with me on this one. Ready?
Hey-oh! Oh! Oh! Very nice. A 3, a 4, and a 4 on the fun scale.
The match was really good. I don't want to trash the match, but I don't think it was the best of what these guys have put together. So, but it was good. I think there was a little bit of a rush to get to the end. It felt like to me. I like this. I like what Private Party's doing, basically giving a reason that the Bucks would want to accept this match, which I think you needed to do. If they're not gonna rebuild that into the trios match, which is what they really should have done, but that's a whole different discussion. But the only problem is I think it foreshadows Private Party winning because you don't split them up. So like, but whatever, I'm okay with a little foreshadowing. And then I don't know how the BCC snuck in the building. It still doesn't make sense to me, but they did.
Johnny Hungy and his nunchucks were not enough to deter them. Marina Shafir is how she's always clearing people out.
He's just not a good ninja. But I think this is good for what they're doing with Orange Cassidy, trying to build him up into the hero. And I think if there's anyone in AEW who should be playing that role, it's Orange Cassidy. Started as a comedy wrestler and was holding enough for a hero. So, he started as a comedy wrestler and has worked his way up. I really enjoy this. And poor Chucky T.
I know. He did actually, I thought, a great job with this, eliciting the empathy in both segments. Joe, what did you think of the match, the first post-match piece of this, and then the final closing moments with the BCC?
The match was fine for me. It was just kind of, I get lost in the trios matches. It's kind of all over the place. I was a little surprised of the quick roll-up win by Private Party, but seeing where it went after the match, it made sense.
Got to be sneaky with the sneaks. You know what I mean? It's a sneak for a sneak out there.
I was a little surprised. Quinn was so surprised when Zay put out the whole, win or we break up, because we literally talked about it last week on TV.
Yeah.
Stokely brought it up to their attention, and they're like, "Huh, if that's what happened to you, we'll do it." And Quinn gave the same reaction then too. But so yeah, I'm hoping they win it. I think they're the hot team right now, and it's I feel like AEW has usually put the belts on the hot tag teams at the moment. I feel like they did that with like the Acclaimed and things like that. So that makes sense.
There's also, I don't think, a lot of juice left in this reign for the Bucks, so it's not like, oh, we suddenly pivoted. It just kind of feels like, okay, now is probably the right time.
And I think that having the Bucks and the Elite or whoever maybe be involved a little bit more in this whole BCC story. No, they don't need the belts because it seems like they dropped that whole power angle with them. So having them focus their attention more on this, takeover, I think will be good. And I'm with you. I like the idea of Orange Cassidy being the heart of AEW, similar to kind of like when Sting was the heart of WCW and he went all dark. And you see Orange wearing a lot of black and he's kind of being standoffish and distant. But like Mark said, we have to we're going to break a piece of someone tonight for the very good. And they broke a piece of Orange, I think, by hurting Chuck.
Yeah.
And that will help rally, get him involved and lead a group of of people. So.
Yeah, I see a chat here that says if you think the ratings are low now, just wait until Pac is world champion. The data does not support what you're saying the fuck at all. Orange Cassidy is continually a merch and a ratings draw, and kind of a live attendance draw too. So, I think I get why you're saying that, like someone who might not be as taken seriously because of their character, but we've seen Orange Cassidy turn more serious with that international title reign. We've seen him turn more serious with, with the whole everything with Trent earlier, and he can back it up in the ring. He fucking rules. So that's statistically, you have no like data to back you up on that. He's a consistent draw. He's a consistent draw for sure. Not so much in a 9 million year feud with Jericho, but he's a pretty consistent draw. So that is kind of our end of the show tonight. Disappointing episode for sure. I'm confident they'll get back on track next week with their big Fright Night special. Gentlemen, do you think they can do anything on Fright Night that's going to, or Fright Night Dynamite or whatever they're calling it? Can we beat the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man moment? I don't think we can, but it would take a lot.
No, we can't.
Yeah, I don't think.
So don't even try.
It was too perfect, yeah.
Unless Ryan had a costume to wear next week.
But I'm not on TV.
That's true.
Yes, you are. You're Kevin fucking James. You're on TV constantly. Usually
in
it's syndication.
Syndication. I can't do new things from syndication.
Land yourself a TV role, man. But that does end our show for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. We had some new names in the chat. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Please leave a thumbs up on your way out. We told you about the t-shirt. We told you about all the ways to support us, so we're not going to bore you with that. But before we get out of here, we will shamelessly plug our shit. And I'm going to start with Ryan this time. I normally start with Joe, but I want to talk cereal, so.
You can find me on all our socials at Mark Order Pod. Just be cool. And then you can follow my history blog, hereforhistory.com. I should have a new one next week, assuming nothing explodes between now and then. And that'll be it.
So if you're a fucking nerd, which you probably are because you're listening to a wrestling podcast, check out Ryan's Here for History blog. I will say I read it, and I'm not like a big history person. It's very digestible and accessible and relevant feeling. So as much as I like to bust Ryan's chop, it's worth your time. It's worth your time.
She's so mean to me, guys.
I am, and I'm extremely serious about it.
Extremely.
Substantially more important than history is cereal, though. I think we could all agree. I think even Ryan would agree with that.
Far more digestible. Far more digestible.
Far more digestible, indeed. When I tried to eat a history textbook, doesn't go down so smooth. But when I try and eat Kelsey Brothers cereal, I think, or was that one of the ones on the docket? Was it the Kelsey Brothers?
Yeah, it's on deck.
It's on deck. Okay, so I'm already plugging what you have to look forward to. But Joe, where can people find you, and where can people read your very important cereal reviews?
You can find me on the social medias at _Asian Joe, and then in my bio I have my link to my cereal review blog. So I think the last one was cookie butter cereal, and then, like Kate said, I have the Kelsey mix. I just haven't gotten into it yet.
Well, fucking get to it, man. Okay.
I care about my health.
That's fair.
It's a conglomeration of cereals in a box. I mean,
the conglomeration? What's the word of the day?
Clusterfuck.
I like that because it almost, like, there's clusters in cereal, too. So there's this nice synergetic thread you're tying for us. But you can follow me at Miss Kate Fabe on social media. You can catch me on Fightful's YouTube channel Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, covering NXT, ROH for some reason, and SmackDown. You can also catch me Mondays on Fightful Select reviewing Raw, Sour Grap style, behind the paywall, and Wednesdays whenever I can be here at the Mark Order Podcast. Thanks so much for hanging out. Wasn't the best episode, but I had a lot of fun talking about it still with these fellers. So we will say goodbye and good night.